Hey, scientists, it's nice to see you. This is Mrs. Kateman. I'm going to be helping you go through setting up investigation 3.3 and 3.4. And our big idea when we're thinking about 3.3 and 3.4 is what happens over different temperature surfaces. So in investigation 2.1, you learned that land and water heat up and cool down at different rates. So that's going to lead to us having different temperature surfaces. And when we're looking at weather, we want to look at the atmosphere and we want to know what do those different surfaces do to the atmosphere above it and how that's going to work. So we're going to take a look at how temperature changes over a warm and cold surface and how air moves over warm and cold surfaces. So we have these really cool convection tubes, and the convection tubes are going to let us see different things happening with air. The first thing we're going to do is if you look at the back of this tube here, you can see that there are numbers in the back of the tube. And the numbers are actually split into two different thermometers. Again, in science class, we're going to, see where you can see me, we're going to use Celsius. So that's the number in the 20s. And we're going to use this convection tube to look at the temperature of the air. So this bottom one, if I look at the convection tube right now, highlighted in green is 23. So that means if it's in green, that means go right down this number. So our temperature in this convection tube right now is 23 degrees Celsius. If you were to have like the top half here, we have both 22 and 23 highlighted, not in green. We're going to take the average. So up in this part of the test tube, or in the convection tube, it's 22.5 degrees Celsius. And yours may be different based on what time of the day you're in the room or where you are sitting in the room. So that's what we're going to be looking at in the first part of this experiment is what happens to the temperature over the surface. So I have two different surfaces. I have warm water and I have cold water. And I'm trying to make sure I'm doing a controlled experiment and I have both the same amount in both of these. We're in the same room. We're making sure that our our controlled variables stay the same. Our independent variable is going to be the temperature. Our dependent variable is going to be the temperature above the surface, and our independent variables are the temperature of the surfaces. So what you're going to do is you're simply going to put over the top the convection tubes, and you're going to record the temperature. You may want to have one person record for each temperature. If above the warm surface you end up getting too much condensation, you can use this handy-dandy condensation remover, which is just a ruler with some paper towel on it. That should help so you can see things. So once you complete that data table and you've recorded the temperature, we want to take a look at how the air is moving. So when you get to this point, you're going to call your teacher over and we're going to use Punk. Punk is something I didn't know. I guess you use it for fireworks. Punk will give off smoke. Okay. So I'm going to light it. And again, your teacher's going to do this and you can see it lets off smoke. So then I'm going to put in for 5 seconds Punk into this area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to take the Punk out. And what I want you to take a look at is I want you to take a look at what happens to the air. And Punk allows us to watch air because air is often gases are clear. But once we put the smoke, that little tiny solid particles in there, we can see how it moves. You're going to use a flashlight and you'll take a look so you'll be able to see. Your teacher should turn off the lights. You'll see what happens over both a warm and a cool surface. Be cautious though over the cool surface because once you put the Punk in there, the Punk is hot. So you need to let it go 5 seconds, take the Punk out, and then watch what happens to the air. Okay, so the confusing part would be that this is hot and we really want to look what happens to the cold air. So you need to let the Punk go in there. Don't look right away with the Punk because the Punk is hot, and then take the Punk out and then see what happens to the air itself when it's interacting just with the cold air that is in that convection tube. Hope you have a good time learning about air and over different surfaces. Have a good day.